Hey, what's up, everybody? So coming to you today with the weekend preview for basically Thanksgiving Day weekend. There's 3 fight cards in 2 days, a Friday and Saturday. There's only four fights we're talking about though, so we're gonna jump into those. Fairly decent sized fights, especially Friday. But we'll get all into it. So let's check it out now. So Friday night on DAZN, basically the main event's the only fight we're talking about. Demetrius Andrade was supposed to move up to super middleweight, stay busy against unknown Dusty Hernandez on the undercard, but Hernandez tested positive for COVID, so Andrade, as far as I know, his fight's been scrapped, and it looks like he's going forward with a mandatory title defense in January, February against Liam Williams. Now, he could end up fighting, but I don't see him on the card anymore, so I don't think he's going to be fighting. So that one's out. Outside of that, the main event's the only one we're talking about, and that sees Danny Jacobs, former 2-time middleweight champion, returning to action, fighting for a second time at super middleweight as he takes on Gabriel Rosado, former world title challenger. Actually, I'm looking forward to this fight, quite a bit. I like Danny a lot. He's number 3 at 168 for me. I think he's been written off a little bit and forgotten. He's kind of the forgotten man, but he's still chugging away at 168. This is going to be his second fight there. He fought last December when he beat Julio Cesar Chavez, who came in like 5 pounds overweight. He beat him, I believe, by a 5th round TKO, and Chavez quit, saying that he couldn't breathe through his nose. Danny looked pretty good. First round, Chavez came out aggressive, and then Danny outworked him and was outboxing him and landing pretty good shots the next 4 rounds. And then the fight was stopped after Chavez quit. So, Jacobs, this is his second fight, and it's there's some bad blood here between him and Rosado, the former world title challenger. Rosado was a stand-in. He was ready to fight if Chavez pulled some bullshit and had to bail out of the fight last minute. He's been talking shit about Danny and to Danny before and since that fight. And, Danny wants to handle it in the ring. So they've been kind of going back and forth. Danny's acknowledged that he wants to get in one more kind of softer touch opponent before a title fight. And Gabriel Rosado is going to serve as that guy. Now, don't sleep on Rosado. He is no pushover. Rosado can fight, but I think Danny's going to handle this fight, and I think he's going to handle it not with ease, but I think he's going to pretty much win this fight clearly. I see him stopping Rosado, to be honest. I think he's going to box early, kind of pick him apart, set it up, and then I think he knocks Rosado out in the middle to later rounds. And, it could go to a decision, but I think Danny's going to come out aggressive. It's his only fight of 2020, and I think he wants to make an impression because I really do think he wants to get into the title mix heading into next year and get himself in against one of the, against Callum Smith. If Smith, loses to Canelo, even if Smith were to beat Canelo, then possibly move in line. But also, Billy Joe Saunders is a good option. So, he's got pretty much a lot of good. He's got a pretty good amount of options if he is victorious over Gabriel Rosado, and I think he will be. So, Friday night on DAZN, the main event: Danny Jacobs, Gabriel Rosado. Then Saturday, there's 2 different cards. First, from the United Kingdom, we got a pretty good heavyweight matchup on ESPN+. It's going to see Daniel Dubois against Joyce. These are 2 undefeated heavyweights on the rise that are very, very good fighters, but this is both their first real test. They're testing out against each other to see who pretty much is the next big thing. These guys have been highly touted. They're both undefeated. Joyce, I believe, is 14-0 with 13 knockouts. Or no, that's Daniel Dubois is 14-0 with 13 knockouts, and Joyce is 10-0 with 9 knockouts. So, the winner of this fight takes a good step forward towards the top 10. I wouldn't put either guy in the top 10 no matter how the fight ends, but they are pretty much seen as the future. And it's a good time to get into the mix in the heavyweight division. A win here sets up possible fights with top 10 fighters next year in 2021, and a lot at stake right here. It could really, as I said, lead to something bigger in 2021, an eliminator fight, possibly set up a title fight for 2022. This fight has rewards for the winner right here. Dubois coming in the favorite, and he definitely could win. Personally, I'm going to go with Joyce. I like what I've seen out of Joyce. I saw Dubois fight once or twice. Not to say he's not a good fighter. He seems like a pretty solid, good fighter, but I like what I saw with Joyce a little bit more the couple times I saw him fight. So it really could go either way, but I definitely think it's ending by a knockout, and I'm going Joyce with the knockout to stay undefeated, and 11-0, 10 knockouts. He's going to get that 10th. So we'll see what happens. That's Saturday on ESPN+. The undercard's not really anything worth talking about. And then also on Saturday on pay-per-view, we have the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones card. Now, Jake Paul is fighting on the undercard, 6-rounder. That's a social media guy. Not really anything to talk about, so but he's on the undercard if you're interested. The only other fight on the undercard worth talking about is drawing a blank. Badu Jack, the former 2-division world champ, returns. He's taking on Blake McKinnon. This is a light heavyweight matchup. Jack is a top 10 light heavyweight. I currently have him number 8 right now. He's coming off that great fight with Jean Pascal last year, where he lost a very close 12-round split decision. A little bit controversial because Jack closed the fight strong, and he outlanded Pascal in that fight. But Pascal controlled the first half of the fight, put Jack down. Jack returned the favor later on in the fight. Very close fight to call. He lost a close one, but he's returning, trying to stay busy. Rematch didn't happen with Pascal like he wanted. But he wants to still get back in the ring with Pascal again in 2021. So a win here over McKinnon will set that up. It's only an 8-rounder, so I don't know Blake McKinnon. I don't think Jack should have too much trouble with him. I'm thinking he's either going to stop him in the early to middle rounds. It could possibly go to an 8-round decision for Jack, since it's only an 8-round fight. So that's what's going on there. And then the main event, it's supposed to be an exhibition, but neither guy is looking at it that way. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones, the former heavyweight champions going at it, and Roy Jones being former pound-for-pound king. Just my prediction on the fight, I think Mike Tyson's too big. I know there's about a 4 or 5 year difference in age, but I don't think that's going to matter. Tyson's 54. I believe Roy Jones is 49 to 51. I can't remember what I read, but he's younger. But I really think Mike Tyson is just a real heavyweight, and I think he's going to knock Roy Jones out. So I'm thinking the fight should be over in the first 2 to 3 rounds, and Mike Tyson, gets his comeback victory. Again, not taking this fight too serious on a world level, just this is a glorified exhibition, and I think Mike Tyson's going to win by knockout over Roy Jones. So that's Saturday on pay-per-view. I'm personally not going to be watching that. I don't think it's worth the money, but that's just my opinion. It is Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. No matter what age, it's 2 icons. And, don't miss it. If you can afford and think it's worth it, buy it. I personally don't, but, I'll definitely watch the highlights. ESPN Plus, big heavyweight matchup, Joyce, Daniel Dubois. And then Friday night on DAZN, you got Danny Jacobs fighting again at super middleweight against Gabriel Rosario. So should be a pretty decent weekend of fights, setting up for a huge December. And, that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.